In a village bound by tradition, aka faces an impossible choice: marry his father's widow to honor his family, or follow his heart and risk losing everything. As pressure mounts, his decision will not only shape his fate but the future of his entire tribe. Will he choose loyalty to family or to himself? Stay tuned to find out. In a small, lush village deep in the African jungle, there lived a young man named Eke. He was the only son of a large and powerful family and had grown up under the watchful eye of his father, Kuba. Eke always dreamed of one day becoming the leader of the tribe, just like his father, and gaining the admiration of the village people. The sudden death of Kuba turned Aka's life upside down. Kuba passed away from an unknown illness, and this tragic event left the village and Ake's family in shock. A large funeral was held, and the people gathered to pay their respects to their leader. But Eke, who had a deep connection with his father, was still struggling to cope with the loss. Mbora, Kuba's widow, was a young, beautiful, and intelligent woman who had always been her husband's confidante and advisor. Mbora had a special place among the people, but now with Kuba gone, she was left to face the responsibilities and pressures of the family alone. After Kuba's death, Eke's family and the village elders told him that to maintain the family's status and wealth, he had to marry Mbora, his father's widow. They believed that this marriage would unite and strengthen the family, preventing the family's wealth from being scattered. Eke couldn't easily accept this decision. The thought of marrying his father's widow was unimaginable for him. He spent nights struggling with conflicting thoughts, unsure how to respond to the social pressure surrounding him. Guilt and the fear of losing his family's respect weighed heavily on him, alongside his personal emotions. One night, Eke decided to talk to Mbora face to face. They sat by the fire, the flames casting a soft light on Mbora's face. Eke asked her if she was willing to go through with the marriage. Mbora, staring into the fire, calmly replied, "We are important to the village. Perhaps this is the only way." On the surface, Mbora appeared calm and composed, but inside she was also dealing with emotional struggles. She didn't want to be forced into a relationship where there was no romantic feeling. Although she maintained a strong front deep down, she wasn't satisfied with this decision. The village elders and Ake's family put even more pressure on him. They believed that if the marriage didn't happen, Ake's family would fall apart and their wealth would be divided among others. Eke began to feel trapped by the situation. After talking with Mbora, Ake's mind became even more conflicted. He searched daily for a solution to escape the societal pressure, but nothing seemed possible. On the one hand, he didn't want to neglect his family's legacy and his father's respect, but on the other, the idea of marrying his father's widow was unbearable. The conflicting emotions placed an immense burden on him. Eke finally decided to speak with his close friend Kappa, who had been by his side since childhood. Kappa, always supportive of Eke, said, "You must make a decision that brings peace to your heart, even if the whole world disagrees with it." These words gave Eke some comfort, but the solution still wasn't clear. One night, Eke had a dream about his father. Kuba, speaking in a calm voice, said, "Eke, this is not your path. Listen to your inner voice and find your own way." This dream deeply affected Eke, and he felt as though his father was communicating with him from the afterlife. If you have come this far and you liked the video, be sure to like the video and let's continue the story. As the days passed, Eke began to confront his own fears more deeply. It wasn't just the pressure from his family and the village elders that troubled him, it was the thought of disappointing his father's memory that weighed heaviest on his heart. He feared that by refusing the marriage, he might tarnish his father's legacy and bring shame to the family. Every time he thought of Kuba, the pressure intensified, making the path forward feel more confusing and uncertain. Eke decided to speak with Mbora again. They sat by the river, where the gentle sound of the water set the mood for their conversation. AK asked, "Do you really want this marriage?" Mbora, after a long silence, replied, "I see no other choice. Everyone expects us to do this." At night, AK found himself torn between two worlds, one dictated by the rigid traditions of his people, and the other by his own desires for freedom and personal choice. The weight of expectation seemed insurmountable, and yet the desire to escape it became stronger with each passing day. Every moment spent thinking about the decision felt like a battle within himself, and AK wondered if there would ever be a way to reconcile his heart's desires with the obligations that bound him. A few nights later, AKA once again dreamed of his father. In this dream, Kuba was walking through the forest and told AKA, "Your path is in your own hands. You must not let others determine it for you." This dream threw AKA's mind into further turmoil, and he wasn't sure if his father would have supported the marriage or not. AKA remembered his mother, who lived in another village, and decided to visit her. His mother, a wise woman, told him, "Sometimes the best way is to listen to your heart and choose a path where you find happiness and peace." Her words helped AK understand that perhaps he didn't always need to submit to the expectations of others. Days passed, and the pressure from the tribe continued to increase. The village elders kept reminding Akea that marrying Mbora was the only way to preserve his family's position. AK felt as though the entire world was against him, and making a clear decision seemed impossible. Rumors began to spread in the village that AKA was avoiding making a decision about the marriage. People whispered about his indecision and weakness, with some criticizing him for not fulfilling his duty. These rumors worried AKA deeply, as he didn't want the people to view him as a weak man. To escape the rumors and pressures, AKA retreated to the jungle each night. He wandered among the trees, thinking about the decision he had to make. The jungle provided him with a sense of peace, and he often remembered how his father used to talk to him about life among the trees. One night, while AKA was alone in the jungle, he encountered a wise old woman who lived in seclusion. The woman said to him, "Your life shouldn't be ruined by the expectations of others. You must find a path that brings you peace." These words gave AKA the motivation to trust his own decisions even more. One day, AKA decided to visit the village fortune teller to have his future predicted. The fortune teller told him, "You will make a decision that will surprise everyone. This decision will change the fate of you and your family forever." This prediction made AKA think more deeply about his choice, and he began searching for a way to satisfy both his heart and his responsibilities. With each passing day, the pressure on AKA intensified. He could no longer sleep properly, and even eating became stressful. The village expected him to make the right decision and go through with the marriage, but AK's heart remained filled with doubt about the choice. AKA thought to himself that maybe he should surrender to the demands of his family and village. He concluded that if he went through with the marriage, he could preserve his family's honor and position. However, deep down, he still wasn't sure about the decision, and his doubts grew stronger every day. If you were in AK's place, would you sacrifice your personal desires to fulfill your family's expectations, knowing it could secure their future? Write the answer for me in the comments. The village was getting ready for the wedding. People dressed in colorful clothes, and a grand celebration was in the works. AKA walked among the crowd in his formal attire, but inside he was full of anxiety and worry. He didn't know whether this decision was truly right. The night before the wedding, AKA sat alone in his tent, thinking about his father. He wondered what decision his father would have made if he were still alive. He couldn't shake the thought that maybe his father wouldn't have approved of the marriage either. These thoughts plunged him into even deeper uncertainty. On the morning of the wedding, the village gathered at the venue where the ceremony would be held. Mbora, dressed in a white gown, walked toward the ceremony. AK stood beside her, but his heart was still filled with doubt. He didn't know if he could go through with the marriage. When the moment came for AK to vow his loyalty to Mbora, his hands began to tremble. He couldn't bring himself to say the words. The entire village waited to hear his vows, but AK felt that this oath would turn his life into a lie. AK suddenly decided to flee the ceremony. He ran quickly into the jungle. The sounds of the crowd's murmurs echoed behind him, but he didn't look back. He couldn't marry Mbora, and he had decided to trust his true feelings. The villagers were shocked by AK's flight. Some accused him of cowardice, believing he had shirked his responsibility, while others praised him for having the courage to follow his inner voice. This event caused division among the village people. AK retreated deep into the jungle. He stayed there for several days, away from the people and the societal pressures, and contemplated his decision. The jungle became a safe haven for him, where he could reflect on his life and the choices he had made. In the jungle, AK encountered a wise old man who lived in solitude. The man told him, "Your life shouldn't be decided by others. You must find your own path and follow it." These words reassured AKA that he had made the right decision. After several days of thought and reflection in the jungle, AK decided to return to the village. He had concluded that he needed to speak with the village elders and find another way to help his family. He was ready to face the villagers and explain his decision. When AK returned to the village, the elders were upset with his decision. But AK calmly explained that he couldn't marry Mbora. Instead of the marriage, he offered to take on other responsibilities in the tribe to support his family. After some consultation, the village elders agreed to AK's proposal. He took on new responsibilities in the tribe and began working to help both his family and the people of the village. Over time, the villagers began to respect AK's decision. He became known as a brave man who was willing to stand against social pressure and forge his own path. The people trusted him, and he was accepted as one of the young leaders of the tribe. Mbora, too, eventually accepted AK's decision and moved on with her life. She respected AK's choice and continued to play a significant role in the tribe without complaint. She remained a powerful figure in the village. AK often thought about his father and the decisions he had made. He remembered how Kuba had always encouraged him to think independently and make his own choices. Now, AK knew he had made the right decision, and he drew strength from his father's memory. As time passed, AK decided to share his experiences with the younger generation of the village. He taught them that they shouldn't make decisions based solely on societal pressure, but should always listen to their inner voice. After some time, AK found inner peace. He felt that his decisions had been the right ones, and now he was in a position where he could serve both his family and the tribe. He had given meaning to his life and was content with the path he had chosen. In the end, AK proved that even under extreme social and familial pressure, one can make brave decisions. He had become a respected leader in the village, admired for his courage and independence in forging his own path. Does following your heart always lead to true freedom, or can it bring unforeseen consequences that might haunt you? Write the answer for me in the comments. If you like this story, I will be happy to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell and wait for the next video that we will share together. Take care until the next video.